Well, it's a beautiful, beautiful evening. It's a wee bit before 6 o'clock, and this is Friday, so it's the day before Samhain Eve, and the moon is rising, and it is just beautiful. It's actually orange. See if I can get a wee bit of a close-up. It really is beautiful. So I've just been down by the pond, clearing the pond weed and digging out the stream bed. But as I was coming up to the top of the drive, I just saw the moon. And I thought, I've just got to run in now and grab the camera and film this for you. Because it's just so beautiful. So beautiful. Happy Samhain, everyone. This is the Celtic New Year's Eve. Tomorrow is the first day of Samhain, because Samhain translates from the Old Irish to English as November. This is a liminal time. It's a time between 2 years, a time between two worlds, this world and the other world. So this is the last day of the old year, and tomorrow is the first day of the new one. It's been an incredible day here, and in fact an incredible 24 hours, because last night was this incredible moon rising to a full moon. And this Samhain is very special because there's a full moon. This happens every 20 years or so. It's a liminal time. It's a time between two times. A time between two worlds. A time between two energy masses. And today has been so very, very special because there's been a storm, Storm Aiden. And Storm Aiden has blown since last night, since the full moon rose. That's when the wind began. And it blew all night. Huge amount of wind coming in from the west. And the wind has cleansed the land, has cleansed all of Bealtaine. And with the wind there's been a very definite chaos. And of course, where there's chaos energy, there's the potential for chaos magic. So this is a very auspicious day and a very auspicious night. Samhain begins at sundown as the sun sets into the west and the moon rises, or can be visibly seen. Then that's when the Festival of Samhain begins. All of the old Celtic festivals started with the dying of the light. So you went into night as you went into the festival. You see all the leaves off the trees here. And there's the nest up there. It may be the nest of the red squirrels. So for most of this week, with the exception of my birthday, which was the 29th, I've been recreating the pond down here. I've been turning the pond from a stretch of still water into a running stream. And I've been doing this because the water has consistently flowed that way. I'll show you some of what I've been doing. There's lots of little twigs down. A good time just to collect them all up. Jack! Come on! Now look at this! Can you see the stream coming down the right hand side of the pond? Jack! He's just spotted something out there. Could be a ball. Jack! So of course the storm Aiden, has also dropped a huge amount of water, as well as blowing a lot of leaves off the trees. So I've been following the movement of the water down through the pond and clearing the silt away from where the movement has happened. And that of course will be the new stream bed. And as for the rest of the pond, well, I'm just filling it in. So with all kinds of stuff, bits of wood and earth and leaves and silt, because as I dig away the silt, then I just put it over onto what is the mass of the pond. So you can see this beautiful movement now of water. And you can see where the water's flowing. And of course there's much more work to do. This will be the new stream. Of course it lends itself very well to woodland, because a stream going through woodland is much more harmonious than a pond within woodland. So I've started now just piling up cuttings and branches and silt on top of the pondweed and filling all this in. It won't take too long because the amount of silt that's washed down. You can see I've already done this corner over here, so all the sharp edges will be taken away. So we'll move on up. I'll take you upstream and show you the effect that this is having. Of course the pond up here, because there's a second pond, this was the silt pond, and it filled in very, very fast with silt. It was meant to catch the silt and allow the clear water to flow. course, nature knows best, and the pond become completely filled with silt whilst carving out its own watercourse for this stream. So this is the natural flow that the stream has wanted to go in. And this silt over here, most of it is firm enough now to walk on. So I have a particular tree I'm going to plant in here. It's going to be a weeping willow. And then further along here, I'll show you. This is the flow. And it just continues to carve out its own path. So it's going in some beautiful curves and shapes. And there's lots of gravel appearing now at the bottom, where the water is just eroding its own pathway, creating its own pathway, and pools. So rather than have one big pond down at the bottom, I will continue my work along the stream edges like this, widening parts of it and creating pools. Like this one. And of course, one of the incredible things about the waterway is that today especially, with the wind coming in from the west, and the water is flowing towards the west. So again, it's created quite a lot of energy vortex within the stream. So that water flowing out now has been charged. It's been charged with a lot of energy. I can hardly begin to describe the feeling around Bealtaine Cottage today. It is a very special Samhain. Now the Samhain fire. It's a beautiful still night and the wind has died down completely. There's not a movement in the trees. And over there, the clouds have dropped a little bit, but the moon is rising just over there. Blessings to you all. Well, this has been a beautiful Samhain. It's been a beautiful day, and it seemed to begin last night with the rising of the moon. This is the little tree in the stone circle. I went up there this evening after lighting the ritual fire, and I walked through the land in the dark, and it was very magical. And from wherever I was on the highest point here at Bealtaine, I could see the fire, I could see the reflections, and I could see all the shadow play. Myself and Jack and my eldest daughter, we walked around, and every so often you could hear a bird or a movement, and there was real magic in the air. It's now about 11 o'clock at night, and I'm in the cottage. I have the stove lit, and I set my table with food for all those who have gone before me, who are able at this point, at this thin time, at this thinning of the veil, this liminal time, this between time, to enter into this world, this realm, as I do believe that the world has got layer upon layer upon layer of worlds within it, most of which we cannot see, most of which we have disconnected ourselves from. I think our ancestors who lived long ago made the connection much more readily than us. All the dogma and all the fear that have been imposed upon us down through the millennia has cut us off from all these worlds. But the world is magical. This is the moon rising this evening. Blessings to you all on this beautiful, magical, special night.